The Illinois Fighting Illini might be the team with the biggest question mark heading into the 2024-2025 season. Let's get into the Illini preview. The Illini finished last season second, tied for second in the Big Ten at 14-6 and 29-9 overall. They finished off with an Elite Eight appearance. That was their first time out of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament since 2005. And they finished third in the country in offensive efficiency. But they come into the 2024-25 season unranked, and a lot of that due to some of this massive turnover. Really, the only returners that got minutes, Ty Rodgers and Dre Gibbs Lawhorn. Lots of transfers out. Dane Danger to Memphis, Coleman Hawkins to K-State, Luke Goody to Indiana, Amani Hansberry to West Virginia, Sincere Harris to West Virginia, and Nico Moretti to Florida Atlantic. And then they lose four graduating seniors in Terrence Shannon Jr., Marcus Damas, Quincy Guerrier, and Justin Harmon. Just a completely different looking roster this year. So let's get into it. Start off with the transfer newcomers. Kylan Boswell, he'll wear number 4. He'll be a junior. Originally from Champaign, Illinois recruited him out of high school. He was a 25th ranked recruit by ESPN in the class of 2022. Spent his first 2 years at Arizona, transferring back, hoping for a new change of pace here after he struggled a little bit in Arizona. Hasn't quite lived up to that top player hype. But what he can bring right away, I think, for Illinois is he's a great on-ball defender, and he can really set the tone for this team and guard really the best guards that they'll be facing. And I don't think he'll have to be a playmaker, and that should help out for him as well. He can be a playmaker, but he doesn't have to be the only playmaker, as we'll get into sparse later. Second transfer, Benham Rickhouse out of Evansville, 6'9" shooter. So that, let alone, is going to be a problem for other teams. And he shot it at 42% from three last year at 5.4 attempts per game. So he wasn't just shooting a couple a game. He's getting them up and he's making them. And it's really impressive on Evansville, who was 5-27 2 years ago and went to 16-17 last year. So a big step up for the program, and whom Rickhouse was a big part of that. So, and I mean, stop me if you said it before, but a Missouri Valley transfer going to Illinois, going anywhere in the Big Ten, that was huge last year. So I think he'll be a big part of this team. He's a grad COVID transfer, so fifth-year guy. Love that guy. Love the shooting there, especially losing Goody, getting an even bigger shooter. That's huge. Kerry Booth from Notre Dame transfers in. Former top 100 recruit. He was ranked 61st on ESPN. He's 6'10", shot blocking presence, super versatile shot blocker, but also shot a lot of threes last year, 3.6 a game. Shot it at 29.7%, but that's as a freshman. He'll only be a sophomore this year. He'll wear number 0. He can also be a versatile defender. He's very long, so it should just lots of size that should help this Illini defense. Continuing along with 6'7" Louisville transfer Trey White, 6'7" as a guard, more size. This is his third program in 3 years. He went to USC before transferring to Louisville. They were awful last year, so hard to put a whole ton into that season last year, but he shot 30% from three, played a ton. He's a driver first. He can be best for this team if he rebounds. If he's a 6'7" rebounding guard, this team can own the boards. He averaged 5.4 or 5.9 rebounds per game last year, and he had 4 games with double-digit rebounds. He was a previous top 50 recruit, ranked 31st in ESPN going the class of 2022. So he's another guy that can be a versatile guy that is really a tough defender. Moving along to the fifth and final transfer, Jake Davis from Mercer. He'll be a sophomore. He'll wear number 15. He shot 41% from three last year as a freshman on 4.6 attempts per game. So another shooter who should really help out this offense in floor spacing between Davis and Rickhouse. definitely have some floor spacers. And the thing about Davis is he's only a sophomore. A lot of these transfers, only Humrickhouse is the one that'll have 1 year of eligibility remaining. The rest will have at least two. Booth and Davis will have three. So lots to love in the transfer class. Again, though, a lot of transfers, so we'll see how they all mix, but a lot of size, a lot of length, and some shooting. So you gotta love what Underwood has done out here in the transfer portal. Along with those transfers, the Illini bring in five new freshmen. Morris Johnson, 6'9", he'll wear number 21, 29th ranked on ESPN. He's 2024 Illinois Mr. Basketball from Thornton. He's a relentless rebounder and a hustle guy, defender, should be able to make an impact. He can make an impact right away. Tomislav Ivasic, 7'1", Croatian. He's the brother of Big Z from Kentucky and now on to Arkansas. Um, he's not quite as athletic as his brother, but he's 7'1". He's got good hands. He's a good rebounder. There is a question on his eligibility, so hopefully they get that all figured out sooner rather than later, but they don't exactly know as of now. Last year, Kentucky, his brother had a issue with that too, and ended up being a little bit into the season before he was able to play. Continuing on, Kasparis Yakuchonis, KJ, as a lot of people call him, 6'6". He is another big time recruit, but he's from Lithuania, so another guy from overseas. He is really, really someone who can completely change this offense, in my opinion. He's a playmaker, big playmaker at 6'6", which this whole team is huge again. He's an offensive key. Apparently so far a great teammate, finds others. He can create for himself, but I think his best role will be creating for everyone else on this team. I think he's a huge part of this team this year. He's a guy who can really kind of take the point guard duties, and you don't need to have that all on Kai Boswell. Continuing on, Will Riley, five-star recruit, 12th ranked on ESPN, 6'8", he'll wear number 7. He's got great vision, mid-range game. He's a scorer, but he's a freshman, so it's hard to know for sure, but definitely the most highly touted freshman coming in. And then Jason Jackski's 6'10", he'll wear number 31 from Yorkville. He's a good athlete. He runs well, got a good frame, needs to bulk up. He's been working on that. He's working on bulking up, eating a whole bunch. Says he wants to be here all 4 or 5 years if he were to get redshirted. I think he could get redshirted if big Tomislav Ivasic is ready to go eligibility wise. We'll see, but he could be really good. I think, yeah, he's got to probably use a year or so to adjust, but he's a guy who wants to be here for a while. Seems like a great kid. The question, of course, with this lineup is going to be how they all mesh together. That's a great question. So many new faces. Will it be like last year's team, which had a lot of new faces, but really were able to come together and have a good culture? Or 2 years ago, Matthew Meyer that year, where it just seemed to come unglued. The great thing I think that can keep them together, the two returners, Tyler, they're here to help lead this team. They should both be great defenders. Gibbs Lawhorn is really he's going to be the smallest guy in this team by quite a big margin here of guys that'll get minutes, but that's fine. They've got plenty of ball handlers. They've got an incredible ceiling for this team, lots of talent. But the big question mark is just how it's all going to pan out. So many new guys, new faces. How's it going to work? What are they going to do? What's the offense going to look like? It's looked crazy the last couple of years with crazy different in terms of like Kofi, just kind of centered around him. Shannon last year was very heavily around him and pushing the ball and getting up and down. And then we had the couple of years where who knew, and a lot of one-on-one play, and it wasn't exactly the best. So we'll see. It'll be a process. I don't expect them to be good right away, or they'll be good right away. I don't expect them to be where they were at the end of last year right away. They were picked fourth in the Big Ten media poll, and they are 23rd on KenPom. So although they're not in the AP top 25, they're in the top 25 on KenPom. let's take a look now at the Illini schedule. Projected record, KenPom is 20 and 11 this year, 11 and 9 in the Big Ten. So let's get into it. Opening night, November 4th, they've got Eastern Illinois. And then their second game, SIU Edwardsville. So two, three, 20 plus ranked teams to start the year. That shouldn't be an issue. KenPom's got those at 99% to win. Then they've got Oakland, another 173 ranked, but another one they should win very easily. Before they get a real test with Alabama in Birmingham, that'll be a big one. Wednesday, November 20th, before a couple easier ones, Maryland, Eastern Shore, Little Rock, and then they've got Arkansas on Thanksgiving in Kansas City, or is that? Yeah, in Kansas City. Um, and then they've got Northwestern and Wisconsin to open up Big Ten play in early December. And then they've got two SEC teams in Tennessee and then Mizzou in the bragging rights game in St. Louis before the post-Christmas game against Chicago State to get back into it before they head out west to get Oregon and Washington, that out west trip, get it out of the way early January. They're back home for Penn State, USC, and then at Indiana, Michigan State, back home for Maryland, Northwestern, at Nebraska, back home for Ohio State before going to Rutgers, Minnesota, back home UCLA, Michigan State, at Wisconsin, and then a fun neutral site, Madison Square Garden game against Duke, non-conference game on February 22nd. That's a fun one. Before finishing at home 2 out of 3, Iowa, and then at Michigan, and then back home against Purdue to finish it up. So quite a loaded schedule, but I think it's good that they're getting out west early in that conference season to really, I think that helps them to get it out of the way there early. There's a whole lot of intrigue with this team and a whole lot of question marks, but for good reason. This team has so much talent, so much size, so much length, and a lot of talent. They can be a force on both sides of the court, but they've never played together, and there's just a whole lot of questions around the culture, not the culture, but like if they can all fit together, if Brad Underwood can make it work, which there's definitely all the pieces. So hoping he can. Looking forward to another great college basketball season. Really pumped, getting close. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this Illinois team? What do you think of them? Who are you most excited to see? And I really wouldn't put any stock in that preseason top 25 not being in there. I don't think that really matters, especially this day and age. But please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you like these season previews.